Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon here from Los Angeles, California, and this is Labor Day. For those of you who are sweating on the job, working 50, 60, 70 hours a week, this day is for you. But I'm here to tell you, you can make a decision that every day can be Labor Day, meaning you have a vacation every single day. I made that decision 20 years ago, 22 years ago almost. It took 12 years. Yeah, it took 12 years to make it a reality. Yeah, I failed my first 10 years. I failed in the sense of as far as what I made, but I was learning during that time. So enjoy your Labor Day today. Let's go ahead and get into the news for today. Well, let's see who's online here. We've got Brian Wilson Lobo, Dagmar Sabat, Lake Arrowhead, Vivian Polo, Brenda Fogel from South Orange, New Jersey, my cousin Marnita from Colorado, Jeanette from Sweden, Abdullah from Philly, Janelle, Colorado. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. My man, Victor Brian Hupp, my Morehouse brother. Jacqueline Briggs, St. Petersburg, Florida. Good morning, good morning. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get a return on your investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Make a decision, find a vehicle, stay focused, do not get distracted. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. I see you, Provis Lofties, coming in from Texas. So let's see what's going on in the market. Market cap is at $325 billion, is down 2% over the last 24 hours. It's interesting. It is still holding above 10,000 though. That's the psychological barrier right now. If it goes below 10,000, I can see it going all the way down to 6,000, which I still believe needs to happen at least once. The market is down 14% over the last 7 days as far as Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is still at 56.8%, but we see nothing but bleeding red right now. Now, here's another thing to look at. Tether is also in the red, which means, there's more coins coming out of Tether and back into the market. So we're seeing a stabilizing effect here, but we'll see how long this lasts. Can it hold? Yeah, I saw that Dagmar drop below, but it didn't stay there. It dropped below 10,000 briefly. Best performers last 24 hours was only up 6.5%. UMA, BitShares, Hyperion, Blockstack. I have a concern, and my concern is the whole DeFi explosion that helped to push this whole market cap up. I have a concern that the correction of it is going to bring the entire market down to where it's supposed to be. I think the DeFi craze has artificially pushed things up because people keep saying, Brandon, are we in a bull run yet? No. Remember, I've got 3 criteria for a bull crypto run, not just Bitcoin, crypto, and it has never met those 3 criteria yet, not since 2017. But this new run that's happened now, I believe, is being pushed by the DeFi craze over the last couple of months. So there's going to be a correction to that. So just keep that in mind. See, worst performers. Good morning, Anthony Simon. What? You won $11,400 at the casino last night? There you go. All right, DFI Money down 12%. Our reserve rights token down 11. Any main one that I look at here? VeChain is down 8. YFI is down 8.3. Swipe is down. Aragon, Siacoin, Engine Coin. I need to sell my Engine Coins. I've been holding this for a while. I don't know if that's ever going to really do anything. Cosmos 6.3. Polkadot 6.1. Okay, let's get into some news. All right. Now I want to save this one for last. I don't want to do that one just yet either. This one. $100,000 Bitcoin prediction from Three Arrows Capital CEOs goes viral as Bitcoin holds above 10,000. So remember the last couple of days, we've been seeing predictions from so-called experts, anywhere between $100,000 to $1 million a coin, all ranging between 2021 to 2025. So what is this guy saying? A Bitcoin prediction from the CEO of the hedge fund firm Three Arrows Capital was going viral. In a post on Friday, Su Zhu initially predicted that he expected Bitcoin to pull back to below $9,000. Reality is that markets frequently retrace 1/3 or more in bull markets after local euphoria. Bitcoin at $8,800 and Ethereum $320 are perfectly healthy targets, and your trading plan needs to incorporate non-zero probabilities to such levels. But the top crypto appears to be defying Zhu's expectations as it continues to hold steady above support of $10,000. According to the executive, Bitcoin's resilience is a sign that the top crypto will reach monumental heights. Ethereum, $320 as a bottom made sense and played out. Bitcoin, I am actually flabbergasted by the strength shown at $10,000 and probably means $100,000 is more likely than $5,000 at this stage. Really? Huh. So this guy thinks that going to 100,000 is more likely to occur than it dropping to 5,000. I don't agree with that. I think that it's more likely to drop to 5,000 before it goes to 100,000. That's just my opinion. We'll see. In addition to Bitcoin, Zhu is closely monitoring the action in the decentralized finance space. He says there's much to be learned from the craze and its various exit scams and scandals. That is my concern right there. Exit scams and scandals. Let's learn from this madness. 1, Anon founders need to be put up to higher, not lower, scrutiny. Forking out builders and creators is not creating value. Think adversarially and do not assume that people will act against their immediate interests for the greater good. The bear case for sushi is the fact that Uni V2 itself is a pretty meh product without incentives layered on top. See, that universe, well, I'll show you what he means here. There are certain coins out there that you can only get. Let me pull. Well, is it sushi? Is that the only place you can get that coin to? Let me see. Now I've got partners that's using this exchange. Yeah, Uniswap. Sushi is also on Binance. But I've seen a lot of horror stories with Uniswap. People doing a transfer and then losing everything. It gets lost in translation. I don't mess with that. I don't take that type of risk. But I'm also not going to get the best reward because some of the coins that you're able to get for pennies on Uniswap, by the time it gets to Binance, is worth a couple of bucks already, and you lost out big time. I'm just not willing to take that risk. Some of you guys are. That's all good. But it's on Binance. I see that. Okay, so Zhu believes that while there's a lot that can be improved in DeFi, the nascent sector has the potential to rise up and compete with the more established centralized finance markets. If the trend of users migrating to DeFi continues, it is possible to imagine that soon DeFi spot markets are on par with or more liquid than CeFi ones. Then, margin traders may see DeFi margin trading as an increasingly viable alternative to CeFi, which in turn may compel CeFi exchanges to add DeFi liquidity into their own financial markets. Under this world, disparate CeFi markets become spokes to connect the DeFi underlying markets, and users can decide which level they ultimately prefer for interacting with liquidity. And that's too risky for me. All right, next article up. U.S. man pleads guilty in $722 million Bitclub network Ponzi scheme case. You know, in this industry, there are 6 degrees of separation. And when you start to have success and when you start to reach the top of different companies, your name gets to be known in the industry, and it's a small group up there. Understand, in network marketing, direct selling, there's only 1 or 2% of people that will ever be involved that reach a point where, you know, they're financially free. And it's not because the industry sucks. It is because there's a skill sets that you need to learn, and the majority of people never do. They come in with the mentality and the mindset of get rich quick. They want something fast. They have an immediate problem that they're trying to solve in their lives, so they're throwing a Hail Mary. I guess I'll go do one of them home-based businesses I see on Facebook because I need something right now. And they never take it as a profession. See, one of the things that I did, and this is why I do endorse GoPro. Oh, what's that guy's name? I'm getting old, so I can't remember the name. Eric Worre. Eric Worre does he wrote a book called GoPro. And even if I was told the first book to read when I came into the space was Your First Year in Network Marketing by, man, my brain is not, you guys help me out here. Mark Yarnell, Your First Year in Network Marketing. And it talks about you need to treat this like a profession. But those that do and start to have massive success, we all know each other. Even if we've never worked with each other, we've heard of each other in the space. And once you're at the top. And so I see things like this because I think they're going to talk about Joe Abel. And the last 8 to 10 years or so, because of the internet, it has allowed individuals to be able to be in hop around from company to company to company because there's so many of them out there. You know, like Victor is on here. Victor was my upline when I first joined network marketing when I was a senior at Morehouse College. He was my sponsor. And in those days, if you weren't having success, you had 2 options only at that point. Option number 1, to quit and go back to your 9-to-5 job. Or option number 2, learn the skills necessary to have success, even if it took you 3, 5, or 10 years. In fact, they used to tell us back then that 90% of people who stick with the same company, the same program, for at least 10 years reach the top of the compensation plan. So when I was 22, when I saw that, I said, wait a minute, are you telling me if I at least stick with this for 10 years, I'll be in my 30s and I could be the top position, if the top position was averaging like 40 grand a month, 20 to 40 grand a month on the low end, the high guys were millionaires? I'm going to stick with it. That is no longer the case today. There's a third option. Option 1, quit, go back to your 9-to-5 job. Option 2, put your head down, go to work, and learn the skills necessary. Or number 3, I'll go on Facebook and look at my friend posting about another company that is promising riches without me having to do nothing, and I'm going to go jump ship and go over there. And you do that every 6 months, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You guys know what I'm talking about. And you're following leaders that they're getting deals or whatever to move from company to company to company. And it's like musical chairs. So anyways, you got top leaders that do that. Now, let's get back to this case here. in the crypto space. This was what I see that's wrong with the space. Network marketing companies that have made Bitcoin as the product instead of actually selling a product. That was prevalent in 2017. And then you had a lot of mining companies. Some were good, most were operating illegally. And or a lot that were operating legally, the marketing that the reps themselves were doing was illegal. Promising returns, guaranteeing a certain percentage. This type of stuff you can't do. You're selling a security when you do that. And it's not that it's illegal, it's just if you're not registered, then it's illegal. You got to be registered. You got to follow the laws to do so. And most of these companies never go through that process. That's one of the reasons, those of you who remember 2018 when we launched KGX, and it was an education platform that had the main draw was we were going to have a trading bot. And the trading bot, you were able to put your money in and let the trading bot do its thing, and you're able to get a return, and you don't even have to be skilled in trading. We never launched it. You want to know why? One, because we followed the advice of our attorneys. They said that this, in its current form, is not legal. You need to get it legal in all 50 states. I think the last I remember, we got it to be legal in maybe 35 states or so. Now, technically, we could have launched it, and we could have went for 6 months to a year with no problems. But eventually, it would come to bite us back in the butt. So we never launched it, and that's why everybody has signed up in the first place. So a lot of these companies are taking that risk to say, we'll float below the radar screen until we get too big enough and the authorities decide to look at us. But let's see what's going on here. $722 million. How many of you were part of the Bitclub network, if you're willing to admit that? I was not part of Bitclub network. I was approached by it multiple times. I never joined it. A Bitclub network Ponzi scheme promoter has admitted to charges of selling unregistered securities and to subscribing to a false tax return, and you're just compiling on top of it, in connection with his role in the $722 million fraud scam. The man, Joseph Frank Abel, again, like I said, if you're at the top of this industry, you know who it is, pleaded guilty by video conference before U.S. District Judge Claire C. Secchi. The U.S. citizen becomes the second person to plead guilty to charges relating to the scam after Romanian Silviu Catalin Falaci's admission in July. Abel was initially charged by indictment in December 2019, along with 4 other co-defendants soon after their arrest. Now, here's what's interesting here. Joe Abel didn't own Bitclub Network. He was a promoter. So a lot of you guys, if you're in these schemes and scams and Ponzi's and stuff, and you're out there promoting, you can get hauled in just as well as the owners or the people behind the company themselves. This is why I always put a disclaimer before any time I open my mouth in this space. I never guarantee anything. I always say that there is a risk of you losing everything, and that's why I have my 4 rules, that education is key. It is a necessity. So be careful what you put out there and what you're saying. So according to the statement released by U.S. Attorney Craig Carpenito, the defendant and its accomplices operated a fraudulent scheme that solicited money from investors in exchange for shares of purported cryptocurrency mining pools. In addition, the scheme rewarded investors for recruiting new investors into the scheme. Here's another red flag if you ever want if you're ever looking at an opportunity. Where is the money being made? Where is the money being generated? Is it being generated from the use of the product, or is it being generated from recruiting and the monthly auto ships? Now, this has been a debate for 15 years because some would say if somebody is on auto ship, they're using the product, therefore they're a customer. The SEC didn't buy that. Ask VEMA. They didn't buy that argument. You need to have a customer to rep ratio now in the network marketing space. So just having somebody that's a rep on the product on auto ship, they're still considered a rep. The other side of that says, no, we have people that join the business. They have no desire to actually really build it, but being a rep that gets them discount on the product. I agree with that. But it doesn't matter what I think or believe. What matters is the law. The law is the law, and you got to abide by it or face the consequences. So in this, and I don't know, you guys, if you've ever been in Bitclub network, were you making the majority of your money off the mining? I already know the answer to the question. I normally don't ask questions I don't know the answer to. Or did it come from the recruiting? Here's another red flag. I'll say this. The Forex space is exploding. And it's exploding not because it's new. Forex is far older than Bitcoin, but it's far bigger than the stock market. But Forex is exploding because companies have decided to create a network marketing feature to it to train the average person about how to trade on Forex. This is not taught in school. Wealth generation is not taught in school. So it is good, and I applaud companies that are setting themselves up to teach the public a skill set. And once you learn that skill set, it's like having your own ATM machine. You can now take that skill set and you can thrive. You can use it to be profitable with. The problem is you have a lot of these companies that is not where people are making their money. They're recruiting people and on auto ship $100 or more to make the money off the auto ship, and the trading is secondary. That's just, and it's not that the company was designed that way, but that is how the people are using it. Here's another thing I learned because I've been on the side of corporate. You can design something one way, and when you launch it, the people use it and do it something completely different than what you have it designed for. That's not your fault. But it is your fault if you don't rein them in. Again, talk to BK and VEMA. VEMA, on paper, did everything correct. It was the top leaders in VEMA that were doing things incorrect. And according to the SEC or the FTC, VEMA didn't do a good enough job in reining them in. Now, ultimately, BK won. But he won after they came in and shut everything down and almost killed his company. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then he proved they were innocent. But at that point, so again, if the focus is on you're only going to make money by recruiting and you're not going to make any money off of the trading, that's a red flag. I didn't say it's illegal. I'm not saying I'm against it. Because I'm a networker. I can join anything and I can go out there and recruit the world. I'm just saying not everybody can do that. You got to know what you can do and what you are willing to do. So here we go again. Furthermore, the statement says able, and this is interesting, they say rewarded investors for recruiting new investors. That word investors. If you see any business that's talking about invest in this, red flag. Or you need to follow it up with, what is your legal representation? Do you have paperwork showing you're legal? You're operating under the standards because you're using the word invest. Can't use that. I will never use the word investors. I will never use ROI. Furthermore, the statement says Abel, who operated as the scheme's largest promoter. See, there you go. He was not ownership. He was the largest promoter. Marketed and sold shares of Bitcoin Club network despite knowing. Now, how do they prove this? Knowing that the network and its operators did not file a registration statement to register shares with the SEC. Okay, now that they've got to prove that. Can they prove that Joe had no idea or was fully aware that no registration was filed? See, there's companies out there where you don't know it's a scam until you actually get scammed. I mean, you're just believing what corporate and them is telling you. But here they're claiming that he knew full and well that this was a scam. And I guess he lost. Well, obviously he lost because his sentencing is coming up. According to regulations in the United States, the conspiracy charge to which Abel pleaded guilty, he pleaded guilty to this. Wow. So yeah, he's saying, yeah, I knew we didn't file a registration. Carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a fine of $250,000 or twice the pecuniary gain to the defendant or loss to the victims. Okay, now that's weird sentence there. We're talking about $722 million. Joe don't have $722 million. He can afford $250,000. But depending on if they froze the funds and say all the money he has came from this network, so we freeze the funds, so then, yeah, that's going to be tough to come up with. But twice the pecuniary gain to the defendant? So what if they look at this records and say, we see that you earn $6 million off of this, and so we're going to fine you double that. So he's got to come up with $12 million. So I think that I think this was a financial decision he might have made to plead guilty, to say, yeah, okay, I'll plead guilty under the condition, you know, that the financial charge may be $250,000 instead of $6 million. That's a possibility. I don't know. I'm just thinking like as a lawyer and the defendant would in this case. The tax charge, and that's a whole other thing. I don't care how great you are in crypto and you're in the United States, report your taxes. Even if you think I've got so many wallets and they're never going to find out, if technology gets to the point where they're able to track you down, they will go back on you 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Don't play that game with them. Pay your taxes. I also say that because I'm public. I know I'm being watched and looked at. I don't want nobody to ever come back or the authorities to say I was out there preaching and talking about how to evade taxes. So I'm on record. I pay my taxes. I report my crypto. Pay your taxes. So the tax charge, on the other hand, carries a maximum penalty of 3 years in prison and a fine of $100,000. So that on top of the other, we're talking about 8 years and $350,000. Sentencing is scheduled for January 27th. So Joe, the raid on his house happened, I think this was last year. You guys remind me? End of last year or sometime, or beginning of this year? I think it was last year. And with time served and this plea deal, he might get 3 years in prison and $250,000 fine, unless they decide to make an example of him. They make an example of him, $350,000 and 8 years in prison. However, the court statement suggests that the other 4 defendants initially charged along with Abel are off the hook. Off the hook? How? At least for the time being. The charges and allegations against the other defendants are merely accusations, and they are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. That's weird. They raided Joe's house from April 2014 through to December 2019. So we're talking a 5-year run here. Abel and his accomplices operated the scheme, which specifically targeted dumb investors. Where does that come from? Dumb investors. The operation, which grew to become one of the largest crypto Ponzi schemes, targeted countries in Asia, Africa, and Europe. Many lost invested funds when the scheme collapsed at around the same time directors were arrested. I read another article on this, and it talked about the dumb investors because they've got text messages and emails where they actually said dumb investors. Come on, guys. I mean, I guess they were making so much money. You know, common sense kind of goes out the door. You think you can get away with anything. So, again, you got to be careful out there. Got to be careful. That's why education is everything. That's why I'm launching my own education platform. All right, so last up. Bitcoin beats gold. Uh-oh. All right, you gold people, don't shoot the messenger here. I'm just reading the article, okay? I didn't say I believe this or anything. I know you gold bugs out there. Carrot bars people. Bitcoin beats gold on every single measure, says macro strategist Raoul Pal. Is it Pal or Paul? I'll say Paul. Global macro investor Raoul Pal has explained why he believes Bitcoin is better than gold in every way. He proclaims that Bitcoin is the hardest form of money and the best reserve asset and best collateral asset ever seen. Bitcoin is the world's best trade. Macro strategist and former hedge fund manager Raoul Pal shared some analysis from his monthly global macro investment report earlier this week. The report is exclusively for global macro investor clients. This month's core focus is on Bitcoin, particularly how the cryptocurrency compares to gold. Pal previously co-managed the GLG Global Macro Fund in London, after departing Goldman Sachs, where he co-managed the hedge fund sales business in equities and equity derivatives in Europe. He retired from managing client money in 2004 at the age of 36 and founded Global Macro Investor and Real Digit Group, 36 years old. I think it's the world's best trade and of which I am irresponsibly long. That's a key word he said there. He used irresponsibly long. What he's saying there, he's taking a huge risk because this is brand new territory. It's never been done before. He's not being cautious, and he's going all in. Pal wrote about Bitcoin. He then proceeded to outline Bitcoin's key features, such as its fixed supply and how its transactions are immutable, distributed, and decentralized, making it incredibly secure. The former hedge fund manager detailed, asserting, "The honest truth is that it beats gold on every single measure, except it just doesn't have 10,000 years of history." It's true. Something that has a finite fixed supply and is incredibly secure has true value, Paul emphasized. The fact that it is divisible, portable, transferable, and exchangeable makes it have potentially more value than any other store of wealth or any other form of money. In contrast, he pointed out that gold lacks ease of use and transportability in the digital world. My guess is that Bitcoin will trade at rates higher than bonds, not because of credit risk or inflation. Bitcoin suffers from neither, but because the value of that collateral is worth more due to its pristineness, Tal opined. Bitcoin is pristine collateral, the greatest form of collateral. Its blockchain ownership structure reduces the huge black swan risk of who owns what. It is all recorded and, more importantly, provable. The strategist also explained that gold was used as collateral, but its role has diminished as central banks choose bonds over it. Gold also is not easy to use because it has to sit in vaults, and its ownership needs to be proven and transferable. And in the world of rehypothecation, even central banks have relent the gold out so no one knows the owner, unless you own it and store it yourself. How detailed, affirming. In my opinion, Bitcoin is the best reserve asset and best collateral asset ever seen. It is the hardest asset ever produced with an impossible to change formula for supply that gives it predictability like no other asset ever. Government bonds. Oh, I'm saving this article. There's a lot of quotes in here. Government bonds, especially U.S. Treasuries, are the current collateral for the world. He continued adding that the current system is failing due to the action of central banks. When debt loads became unsustainable, meaning that the weakest borrowers couldn't get access to enough collateral, instead of the price of collateral rising, thus forcing firms to go bust, central banks began to increase the supply of collateral and reserves, quantitative easing. The central bank's action devalues the collateral either abnormally or over time as fiat money's purchasing power falls. Bitcoin's value, on the other hand, is protected as central banks cannot create more of it. Therefore, its value during collateral shortages, recessions goes up, forcing only the strongest creditors to have access to it, and thus allowing the business cycle to work and weeding out the weakest creditors. Believing that Bitcoin solves all of the existing financial system's collateral problems, Powell concluded that in his view, Bitcoin will become the more desirable form of collateral, adding that he sees this as the killer application. The macro strategist revealed in a tweet last week that he owns a lot more Bitcoin than gold, and he also owns some Ethereum. Believing that Bitcoin outperforms gold overall, he stated gold can go up 2 to 3 times or even 5 times, while Bitcoin can go up 50 to or even 100 times. All right, yeah, I'm saving this article. This is a good one right here. All right, so that is Crypto Talk for today. I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that's the point, and I did. But I'm saving this article. I see a lot of quotes from here, but the one key thing that I get again is education. Crypto education is everything. Let's see, since I've been talking for 38 minutes, as Bitcoin price moved since then. Yeah, it's gone up about 120 bucks. It was at 10,020 something when we started. See this, up 0.5% in the past hour. And what did I say at the beginning? Remember I looked at Tether and I said Tether is in the red, which means they're pulling coins out. They did that. Now you see the other coins in the green, but Tether now is in the green, which means it's halting a bit. So we're seeing a little bounce around between 10,000 and 10,200. See how long this goes on. Learn how to read the charts. I just did it live for you earlier. I predicted this, and it's exactly what took place. It's slowing down a bit. This is easy to know. Just look at what Tether's doing. Is it green or is it red? The rest of the coins will be doing the opposite of whatever color Tether is for the short term. So, and here's a good example of this. You see the little graphs over here? When Bitcoin drops, you normally see all of them in the same pattern. But look at Tether. It's like a basketball. Boom, 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 boom. So you get this is what traders use for the short term. So again, crypto education is key. I have a unveiling that I'm doing tomorrow night. Call it a sneak peek. It's a soft launch. This is not my full launch. I was not expecting or planning to do this until January. But I said, well, what the hell? So I'm doing a soft launch. You know what? I will show something here. I guess I'll go to my page. I'll show you guys something. Tomorrow night, well, I got this image here. Online education for the new digital economy. Or, here we go. Take a look. All right. That's a sneak peek for tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, on teachmecrypto.info. I will be doing a short presentation, but an unveiling showing the site off, and then I'll probably do a Facebook Live the next day showing it off, because I want to give, I've got some special promos that I'm doing for the first 10 people who jump on board, and then I'm going to go public. So just letting you guys know, when you want something done right, or let me not use that word right, when you want something done according to your vision, you can't rely on somebody else to push your vision. It's got to be up to you. So after 3 years, I think it's time that I start to push my own vision. And so 3 years in the making, launching tomorrow. This is not network marketing. This is not MLM. So just letting you know that. Straight up education and teaching you how to take that education and profit from it. See you all tomorrow night. Oh, wait. Today is Labor Day. What's the temperature going to be today? I've been in the swimming pool the last 2 days, but I got to get some work done. So today, high is going to be 97. Oh, we got that fire going on. Here it says smoke. So air quality is going to be bad. No, I'm not swimming today. I'm not going to be outside. But I'm going to be working all day today. There's no presentation tonight. I will do crypto talk tomorrow morning, and then I'll follow that up. I got presentation for Up to Give at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then my own launch of my platform at 10 p.m. Eastern. See you all then. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.